Hello. It's good to see you. Today, I was going to show you this little shirt. I bought this at Goodwill. It's just a little True Religion, like a V-neck t-shirt. And I really like it. It's really cute. And it has this design on the back here. It's like an iron-on. It's really cute, but unfortunately, I got it home and I realized that the seam right here has come undone. It's not ripped or anything, so that's good. All that's happened is that the seam has just come undone right here. It's not a big deal. This is a very simple little fix. So we're just going to do a simple repair on this little shirt. I like the stitching on it. It has like this white stitching on the shoulders and around the back here, like that. But the rest of it is just sort of plain. So when I do a repair like this, I like to turn the garment inside out. To me, it makes it a little easier. Or you can just take it like this if it's accessible this way. The fact that it has a V-neck makes it a little bit easier to just kind of, I'm just turning the inside right here, sort of inside out. You can do it this way. I'm just gonna turn the entire shirt wrong side out. Okay, there we go. And yeah, I don't think this shirt was made too terribly well. A lot of the stitching looks, I mean, maybe it's fine. I mean, it's not super awful, but yeah, you can see here where the seam has just come undone. And we have this frayed little bit of thread here. Now, I am not a seamstress. I do not have a sewing machine. I am not anything special. I am not like a professional or anything, so you don't have to criticize me. It'd be really cool if you didn't. I think in the world right now we have enough bad stuff. We don't need to add more for no good reason. So that'd be cool with me if you just not. You can have an unexpressed thought. It's okay. I have lots of them. Okay, so how I do this, I'm not going to cut this thread. This is the thread right here that is holding the seam together for the rest of the sleeve. What I'm going to do, what I typically try to do, is just kind of work it into the little bit of stitching that I'm going to do. So you want to take, it looks like the fabric here is kind of trying to roll down a little bit. And this is not going to look perfect, I can promise you that. But I don't really worry about it because it's right in the armpit. I mean, it's not really going to show all that much when you're wearing it. But I do want to go ahead and fix it before it, like rips or gets worse. So you want to take your fabric and kind of unroll it. It's trying to roll up right here. You want to just try to flatten it out a little bit. If you want to, you can even take an iron and just kind of, iron it a little bit. I'm not going to do that. It's not really that bad. This little bunch of thread, though, I'm just going to kind of lay it on top like that. And as I'm sewing, I'm just going to kind of work that in there. So, let's look here. This is a little container here that I keep a lot of sewing stuff in. I have a separate one that's all buttons. This one contains little spools of thread and needles. And I have some little patches here for denim, little iron-on patches. This is a Rubbermaid stain shield. It's a food container, but I have had this for probably close to, well, probably 15 years. Yeah, I've had this for probably 15 years. And it just has all kinds of little stuff in it. Look at this. This is an iron-on patch. We're not going to need this for the shirt. But this is great for jeans if they get a hole in the knee or something, so you can cut it to be whatever size you want it to be. And it has this adhesive stuff on the back. I don't need a patch today though. Okay. And here, this is most of my little needles. I just have them stuck in here like this. And they're all kind of small. I do have some larger ones, but they're not in here. Any one of these would work. Typically, I just grab like this, and whichever one comes out, that's probably the one I'm going to use. So, but yeah, they're just kind of stuck down in there. So we will use that needle. I'm going to set that aside. I have a little container here. Look at this. We have little safety pins in here. Little closures, little hook closures. I had to buy a pack of these. I really only needed one. I had to buy a pack to fix something at some point, and I just put the extras in here with my safety pins. Oh, and then we have thread. Look at all this thread. Here's a pretty navy blue. I have several different spools of just some plain white thread. Dual Duty Plus. You ever notice how even now when you buy thread, it has sort of a vintage look to it, like they've never really changed their stuff. It all just kind of looks like that. This is a pretty brown thread. I'm looking for one that's close to the color of this. There's a darker brown, so we have two shades of brown. That's actually kind of like a copper color. And black. And then these, all of these are from just little kits that you can buy. Here's a needle threader right here. It looks like a guitar pick, but it has this little piece on it, and I will show you how that works. We have lots of colors. I'm thinking this one, I think this is close enough. This one jumps out at me. That one right there. But look at all these pretty colors. We have different shades of pink in here. Here's an off-white, burgundy. I think that's black, light blue. I've almost used up all of that brown right there. We even have a tiny, tiny pair of scissors. They don't work worth the crap though, so they're in here just in case. If I had a sewing emergency and no scissors, I mean, you can get them to work, but they don't work very well. They're very cute though, aren't they? They're so cute. I love them. Ooh, look at this one. That's a beautiful blue. Look at that. Oh, it's like a royal blue and a dark, like a navy blue. And this green. Oops. This is so pretty. This one is coming. No, wait. This thread goes here. Some trash on there. Okay. I'm going to wrap this one back up. I should probably put a little piece of tape on them because then you end up with spaghetti in your box. You have all these little bits that go everywhere. Here's a gray right here. Oh, look at this purple. It's like a violet color. I like that. And yellow. We have some different shades of yellow in there. I just like to look at them. I think they're pretty. Okay. Yes, I think that one's close enough. We'll go with that. So we're going to put everything back. I have my needle already. Okay. And for cutting today, I just have these little, I love these little spring-loaded scissors. Look at that. They're from Fiskars, and they have this nice rubber on here. Makes them easier to grip. They are very sharp on the end. You have to be very careful. That will poke you. I mean, it's very sharp. we can use these to cut our thread. So we have our little needle threader here, and threading a needle can be difficult, especially if it's a smaller one like this one. It's tiny. So it's really easy. What you do with one of these, and these come in different forms. A lot of times you'll see them in a sewing kit. And little ridges on that. And it will look like a little coin. Actually, I think I have one. I do. Here it is. A lot of times when you see needle threaders, they'll look like this. So if you ever see anything in a sewing kit that looks like this, it's just thin metal. And you see it has the same little end piece as this one. Either one of these would work. I just grabbed this one first. But it's very flexible. And it's all that is that's going to help you thread your needle. So you take your little device here, and you're going to take, this is very flexible metal right here. You're going to take it and put it through the eye of the needle, which can be a bit of a challenge, but there. Now the needle is threaded through this metal piece here. And you see we have this opening right here. This is a loop. This is a single piece of metal here. You're going to take your thread. We're not going to need a lot. Let's see. I always like to run out extra though. Let's cut our thread. And this spool of thread, actually, if you look, sometimes you will see they have, it's hard to see, but there's a little tiny notch cut into the plastic right there. You can take your thread and just kind of feed it through that notch, and that will help hold it in place so it doesn't unwind in your little storage box. That's very cool. Okay, so you're going to take your thread like this, take one end of your thread, and now you're going to, this is a lot easier than threading that little tiny needle. You thread it right through the loop in this piece here, the needle threader. So it's going right in there. Now all you do is take your needle and you're just going to pull it back off of here. And look at that. The needle is threaded just like that. Very simple. Very simple. Now, the way I do it, whatever way you like to do things, if it works, that's the way you should do it. That's how I look at life. That's my philosophy. If you find a way to do something and it works for you, that's the right way to do it. And the way I thread my needle is like that. And then I have doubled my thread over. So now it's basically, this is about the middle of the thread. So it's doubled. And I'm going to use it just like this. So we're going to have basically two bits of thread going through at a time. So we come back to our shirt, we find the problem area. Now you want to make sure when you're doing this that you're not accidentally taking another part of the garment and stitching it. I think everybody's done that at some point. You accidentally grab another bit and you stitch it in there and you have to take it out and do it again. Yeah, I think if you've done any of this, you've probably done that at least once. I know I have. You start to think, well, this fabric feels thick here. Yeah, it's because you're stitching another part of it. So you want to keep the rest of the garment, the sleeve here, away. And it's hard because it can only go so far, but you want to keep it away. Okay. And again, you see these two sections of fabric here are kind of curling, and the nature of this fabric is to kind of do that. This sort of a jersey fabric, it wants to pucker and curl. But again, we don't have to worry about this being perfect because it's right in the armpit, so I'm not really super worried about it. As long as it holds together, that's really my biggest concern. Now, you can either start from here or over here. I feel like starting from over here. I don't really have a reason for it. That's just what I feel like doing. But you could start from over here. You could start in the middle. You could start anywhere you want to. It is okay. There are definitely bigger things going on in the world that you should focus your energy on. Don't sweat little stuff like this. So we have this gob of thread, and I could cut it, but I'm not going to. I'm going to leave it intact. You can cut it. You can do whatever you want. You can take the shirt outside and set it on fire if you want to. That's fine as well. It's a little $1.99 shirt from Goodwill. I'm not really worried about it. So we have our thread here. And you want to make sure to keep your thread loose and not tangled on anything. So I'm going to assess the situation. Let's straighten this out a little bit. Pull it this way. So, get it like that. I'm going to come down here where it's stitched all nice and happy. You see where it's stitched there? It's okay. I'm going to come in there and start there. You don't want to pull your thread all the way through. You want to leave a tail. And you can either go back and forth in a zigzag pattern, or you can loop it over. Go back to this side. Pass it through again. You can use a thimble if you want to. I used to watch my mom do this, and she would always use a thimble. I don't worry about it. Okay, now we're coming up to the part that's messed up, so you want to be mindful of that. Keep it lined up, and we are going to have this lumpy thread here. I'm going to just try to work that in there. We're just going to go right over it and sort of wrap it up in there. And again, I am not a professional, but you could do this. You could totally do this. You can buy a little inexpensive sewing kit. You can get them anywhere, Target, Walmart, wherever. They're not expensive. And you could make little simple repairs like this. You absolutely can. You don't have to throw away a garment or, donate it just because of a little thing like this. This is a very simple thing to fix. You could do it. So I'm just going along. I'm just looping it over and over. Just like that. It just takes a little time, a little bit of patience. It's not hard. I'm glad that I learned how to do things like this growing up. We definitely live in a world where we are too quick to just throw things away. You will probably end up poking your finger with a needle at some point. It will wake you up if you get into a trance and you're just sewing or stitching along. It'll wake you up. I think I picked a good color and it really seems to blend in really well. I'm happy with it. We're coming up here where it's stitched together right here. I'm going to keep going though. I'm going to keep on going. And we're going to go across again. Right up to that. And see, this is that bit of chunky thread. I've been informed that I do not have enough variety in my content and that I am slacking off lately. Just let me know if you think that's true. It's difficult sometimes after you've made over 3,200 videos of this type. It's challenging sometimes to come up with different stuff. Plus, people like to see more of certain things, so you make more. They can't all be different. I do have a day job and kids and 2 elderly parents who live in 2 different states and obligations, and I have a life. I really do. I know it seems like I don't, but I really do. I have other stuff I have to do every day. But I try to keep it interesting. I try to, you know, keep it nice and varied for you. I guess for some people that's not good enough, but that's okay. I can't please everybody. I'm not Nutella. We're coming back now to where we started. I have stitched back this way. Just get that there. Okay. And I'm going to bring it back through. Now, we have the beginning and the end right here, the alpha and omega. You can tie this off any way you want to. I'm just going to do a couple of little knots here. Okay. And I'm going to cut that. There. Now, it's time for the moment of truth. We have to turn the shirt right side out. Let's just peek at it. I want to peek at it. Let's see what it looks like. Let's find where we sewed. Where did we sew? Okay, we did this right here. Let's flip it over. Okay, again, see, it's not perfect, but that was done by hand. Yeah, it's not perfect. It's definitely not. But it's not gaping open anymore. I think it's pretty stable. It's pretty sturdy. I'm going to turn the shirt right side out. I just realized something. I didn't see this before. All right, look here. So this is what we just did. Look right here. Oh, it gets worse. Look at this arm. It's also, what in the world? How is it? Oh my gosh. See, I was saying this shirt was not, the stitching on this shirt was not great. Either that or whoever wore this put a lot of pressure on these seams somehow. Maybe they were doing acrobatics or something. I don't know. Well, I guess we're going to have to keep stitching. Okay, we're back here where we started. So we did this part here. But yeah, I didn't even see that. That should be pretty simple. And then we can look at the other sleeve. But that is just a little area right here. Of course, there's no guarantee that it won't keep messing up. But we'll fix what's messed up for now. So we're going to take this little bit of thread out of here. And we're going to get some more thread. Fortunately, we have a lot. I don't need a whole lot for this though. Take our little scissors, cut it. And these scissors are great for cutting thread because they do a very nice clean cut. I like them. And again, we're going to take our needle threader here. So again, you're going to take the little point of your needle threader, stick it through the eye of the needle, there. And then you're going to feed it the thread through there, like that, there. And then you're just going to pull the needle back over it. Boom. Look at that. So easy. And again, I'm going to double my thread like that. Okay, back at it. I'm going to start here and work my way into this seam, I think, like a mirror image of what I did a minute ago. So I'm sticking the needle through this part here where it's sewn together, these two pieces of fabric. You want to leave some on the end. And you start threading it through like that. Make sure the fabric is not too puckered up. Honestly, if I had noticed this shirt had these issues, I would not have bought it. I don't mind doing minor repairs on things, but I really didn't need this shirt. I just thought it was cute. I liked the color and I liked the little V-neck on it. But did I really want to do this work on it? No. Yeah, that's why when you're in a thrift store or anywhere really, if you're going to buy a garment, look it over for any flaws, anything that might need to be fixed. If it can be fixed. Sometimes there are, bad flaws that you can't fix. Okay. And now I'm going to come back across. Like that. And we're just making our way back to where we started. And I'm going to put it back through. There. Okay. So again, we have the beginning and the end. And I'm just going to put some basic knots in there. One. I'll do one more. And cut. Now let's take a peek. Yeah, I messed up right there initially, but it's holding together, and this is the part we just did right here. We just did this. Yeah, it's not going to be perfect. Anytime you sew anything by hand, I mean, unless you are just incredibly skilled, which some people are. Some people can sew by hand, and it's really impressive. But yeah, when you do a repair by hand, it is probably not going to look absolutely perfect, especially working with fabric like this that puckers and gets weird on you. Yeah, don't be too hard on yourself. See, this up here was stitched with a sewing machine. You can see that it's much smoother. This is my handiwork right here. Okay, so there's one sleeve. Let's look at the other one. Okay, now we look at this side. This part looks good. It doesn't appear to have a hole in it or anything, but we definitely have a hole right there. Yes, we do. Yeah, look at that. And you have all this thread. And I mean, I guess you can cut it if you want to. I'm just afraid if I cut it, it will fray even more. I'm not going to bother cutting it. I'm going to just sort of mush it in there. So we have this much right here that we're going to have to sew. It's a little over an inch. So again, you're going to pull the little piece of thread out of there. Get some more thread. We're going to need more this time. Cut it. I don't plan on needing any more, so I can take this and put it through that little notch on the spool just to hold it in place. Once again, we're going to take our needle threader, put the little metal bit through the eye of the needle right there. take our thread, put it through the opening on the needle threader, pull it through a little bit, and then pull the needle back over it. And again, I'm going to double up my thread. I got a lot that time. There. So here we have our thread is doubled up like that. Okay. I'm going to start from this way. No, I don't. I like working this way, honestly. I don't know why. It feels more comfortable to go this way, although I do have to come back that way. I like to start out going that way. I don't know. You can try it and just see which way you prefer to do it. My mom used to have me practice doing freehand sewing like this on just little pieces of scrap fabric that she had. When I was a kid, she made all of our clothes. Well, not all of them, but a lot of them. Or I got hand-me-downs from my cousins, which was fine with me because most of my cousins are boys and I loved their clothes. I thought girls' clothes were really lame. I didn't like girls' clothes as much. So I was very happy to get everybody's Batman t-shirts and Rustler jeans. That made me very happy. That's what I preferred to wear. But a lot of the clothes my mom made herself. She was really good at it. But she had arthritis. She began having trouble with arthritis in her mid-30s. And it made it increasingly more difficult to do tasks that required, little detail stuff. She had a hard time with that. Fortunately, I did not end up with arthritis in my hands. I do have it in my toes, though. I have lost a lot of flexibility in my toes. It's painful. But I do flexibility exercises every day to try to maintain as much flexibility in my toes as possible. It hurts, but I do it. I think it helps. So we are just trying to keep these two pieces of fabric lined up. And we're just going across with our little stitches. My mom would make me wear dresses for pictures, and I would always look absolutely disgusted. I hated it when she made me wear a dress. And I still remember why I hated it. I hated it because when you have on a dress, you can't do anything. They make you just sit there because you might get your dress dirty. You might mess it up. So you have to just sit there. And I hated that. But if it was like picture day at school or something, she would make me wear a dress, and I was just, I hated it. I couldn't play at recess. I remember one time I did. It was picture day, and I was wearing this dress and like tights or something. And my mom said, "Now don't go out and play on the playground at recess. You'll get your dress dirty. You'll mess it up." Well, I didn't listen. I went out and played, and I thought, oh, it'll be okay. And we had a merry-go-round out there. And, merry-go-rounds are the best. I love that thing. So anyway, all the kids would take turns pushing, running around and pushing the merry-go-round. But there was a root, like the merry-go-round was next to a tree. And there was a root that was kind of sticking up out of the ground, and you had to remember to jump over it every time you got to it. Well, I forgot to jump one time, and I tripped over it, and I fell. Fortunately, I didn't hit my head on anything, but I skinned my knee really bad, and it tore up my tights, and my mom was so mad. And I got my dress dirty. She was so mad at me. Because I ruined my tights. And I got red mud on my dress because it had rained that day, and we have a lot of red mud around, red clay around here. It has a lot of iron in it, makes it red. And when you get that red mud in certain fabrics, it just won't come out. And I got red mud on my dress, and she got mad at me. Fortunately, as I got older, she would let me wear other stuff for picture day. I was very happy about that. I like dresses now. They're fine. But when I was a kid, I didn't like them because you can't do anything. Like, I wanted to be outside running around and playing. I didn't want to have to just sit there all proper and whatever. I didn't want to do that. So I'm just coming back with my stitches. I'm going to feed it through like that. Okay. And you can kind of pull on that to keep, if there are any puckers or bunches, you can kind of straighten them a little bit. So again, I have the two ends of my thread here. And I'm just making two little simple knots. You can do whatever you want to. If you are in the Scouts, you can show off your fancy knots to no one because they're going to be in your armpit. There. Okay, now let's check it. Let's have a peek. So here's what we did right here. Ooh, I think I did a better job on that one. Yeah, it's not perfect. It's not. But look at it. There's no hole anymore. There's no hole. So now I can turn it right side out. Okay, so here we have it. I don't think there are any other holes in this shirt. I hope not. We fixed that one there. That's the one we just did. And we fixed both sides on this one here, right there. I think the rest of it is okay. Fantastic. So the shirt, well, for now anyway, it's repaired. I did a little repair on the shirt. Very nice. Okay, now we have to put everything back. Here we have our stuff. To make sure we return everything. I like to keep everything together so that when I need it, I know where it is. Put our thread back and get our needle. We have a little bit of thread on here. We'll get rid of that thread. So you just take it and just poke it back down in there somewhere, wherever it will go. And that keeps all of my little needles together like that. Oh, these were made in England. Look at that. Coates and Clark's Sales Corporation. Greenville, South Carolina. Made in England for Coates and Clark's Sales Corp. Cool. Okay. There. I have some ancestors that were made in England as well. Okay. There we go. So I'll get the lid back on there. And there I have my nice little, my little sewing kit, if you will. And our shirt is all nice and repaired, ready to go. Thank you so much for watching. I really hope you enjoyed getting to see these little repairs get done today. I enjoyed doing it. I've been waiting to do this. I just haven't had time to sit down and do it. And it was actually worse than I thought. I thought I only had one place. We had 3. But that's okay. We got it done. At least we spotted it while we had the stuff out. So that's really good. Thank you so much for being here. I really hope that you have a wonderful day. And I'll see you again really soon.